We're going to see what he says. I think this is a pen. I think he scores. I'm going his bottom right. Goalkeeper's left.
Yes guys, a massive happy 2026. I hope you're all having a fantastic start to the year. As many of you know, I'm currently on a mission to go to all 18 Liga MX stadiums, and this week we have something very, very special planned. So far I've been to 6 stadiums. This weekend we're going to go to 2 more, so we're almost halfway through this challenge, because this weekend we are going to Guadalajara, a city I've never been to, a place that a lot of you have been telling me to go to down in the comments on here and over on TikTok as well. So tonight we are starting with the Estadio Jalisco, the stadium of Atlas, as they take on Puebla in their opening game of the Liga MX Clausura. And then tomorrow we have something very, very special lined up. We're talking to a few people over at Chivas, and to be honest, I can't believe we're even at this stage of talking about it. So make sure you stick around for that video, probably next week. By the time that this one comes out, it'll probably be a week after. But yeah, there's a lot planned. There's a lot of exciting talks about that game, and that is also their first game of 2026 as well. So some incredible plans, but today is also a fantastic opportunity to go to a really cool stadium, to go to see a really interesting club. And yeah, come along with me for the journey. We need to be heading off very, very soon because our flight is in a couple of hours. I need to get changed. I need to finish packing. But yeah, it's an incredible start to the year. I can't wait, guys. Come along. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, let's get ourselves to Guadalajara. Yes, guys, one last thing before we head off to the airport. And now I am running super late, but this is very important. I want to share this with you guys. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video, because we are going to be doing a ranking, not just for Atlas, but for every single stadium we go to this year. And we're going to be doing a ranking of the stadium, looking at things like the atmosphere, the fans, the quality of the game, the food. Now, the food is really interesting because I've heard here in Guadalajara they have something called tacos ahogadas, something that I don't really know what it is. I've never really heard of it before. Now, I've tried a lot of Mexican food, but this is something that is completely new to me. So make sure to stick around because we're going to be trying that, whether it's today, the Atlas game, or in the Chivas vlog. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to try this. I've heard that it's really, really good. And yeah, with all that being said, make sure to like and subscribe as always. Stick around to the end of the video to see that ranking. And yeah, let's get ourselves to the airport.
Yes, guys, we're here in the airport, and in true Sam fashion, I mean, I told you I was running late. I ordered a taxi, but then as I was about to leave the house, I couldn't find my keys. So then I was struggling to find my keys. The taxi driver arrived. Somehow, luckily, I managed to find him, got to the driver, got in the car, and then when I looked for an update on my phone for the flight, it said that the flight's delayed for 2 hours, which is fantastic. But at least the game doesn't start till 9 o'clock, and I can see now why games start so late, because everyone is delayed, everyone's in a rush to get everywhere. So now I've got to find something to do for the next couple of hours. I've got a bit of work to do, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we'll be getting to Guadalajara a little bit later than expected, but hopefully we still have some time to try the tortas. I said tacos earlier, but I meant tortas. And yeah, 2.5 hours later, we're finally ready to board the flight at long last. I had a look, and the reason apparently for this is because of weather conditions. I'm looking outside now here in Mexico City. It's looking pretty grey. It doesn't look fantastic, but not the type of weather that would delay or cancel flights. So that makes me think that there's a problem in Guadalajara, and I hope not, because we're going to be going to 2 stadiums this weekend, and that will cause a bit of an issue. But one thing that I did look at whilst I was waiting was the distance from the airport to the centre where we're staying for the next couple of nights in Guadalajara. It's like an hour away. So we also have a bit of a wait to actually get to the place where we're staying tonight. And then from there, it's like another 30 minutes to the stadium. So we're going to have to be well prepared. As you know, if you've watched the other videos, you know I like to get to the stadium at least an hour before kickoff, just to kind of sample the atmosphere, get a taste for the stadium and for the fans and everything like that. So yeah, we're going to have to be quite well prepared. But for these 2 hours, I mean, if your girlfriend buys you a Rubik's Cube, you better bring it to the airport, because it has helped me more than enough over the last couple of hours to kind of pass the time. That and Netflix has saved me big time over the last couple of hours. So yeah, finally boarding the flight, and yeah, at long last we can get on our way to Guadalajara. Yes, guys, this is my humble abode, my Airbnb here in Guadalajara for the next 2 nights. Not crazy amount of space, but for one person, it's more than enough. We've got the bathroom here. We've got this bed, which is super, super comfy. I've been sat watching stuff on Netflix, which has been beautiful just before going out to the Estadio Jalisco in about half an hour. We've got a table here, which I'm going to show you. This is kind of the view from when you open the door. There's not really much to look at outside the window, which is not really an issue, not a problem there. But yeah, that bed is super, super comfy. Anyway, we've got about half an hour until we're going to go to the stadium, and I'm super, super excited. By the time the video goes out, you guys will already know the score in this game, so I'm not going to ask you for your predictions, but I'll say that my prediction is that Atlas are going to win this game 3-1, and it's going to be a beautiful night here in Guadalajara. Yes, guys, so let's have a quick chat before we go to the Estadio Jalisco about this game. So, it's the first match of 2026. It's the first opening game of the Liga MX Clausura. As I'm sure most of you know, Mexican football is divided into two competitions, and we are now going into the second competition. For Atlas, they had a pretty poor Apertura the first half of the season. I mean, who they're playing tonight, Puebla, were the worst team. They finished bottom of the league in the Apertura. So this, on paper, is an easy win for Atlas. But obviously, football isn't based on easy wins, isn't based on paper. It's based on the performance on the pitch. So they have to live up to those expectations tonight. But like I say, first game for Atlas. Don't really know what to expect for them. What I find really interesting is that this is a club that is one of the oldest in Mexican history. It's more than 100 years old, and there aren't many teams that are more than 100 years old. Atlas are one of the few, and with their team as well, they have only won the league 3 times, and they actually went 70 years without winning a league title until 2021, and in that year they won the double. They were one of the few teams in Mexican football history to go back to back, where they won the Apertura in 21 and then the Clausura in 2022. So it was a historic year for them, and in the years since then they've not really been able to live up to the same expectations. Managers have come and gone, but in the last campaign, the Apertura, Diego Coca, I think I'm saying his name right, Diego Coca, he came back to the club, and he was the man that brought those 2 titles to Atlas. So there's a lot of hope. You know, there's a beautiful storyline there. Obviously, things haven't really started the way that he would have planned and hoped for, with them not even qualifying for the playoffs in the Apertura, but he has a chance to make things right now. So it's a really, really good start for them on paper, at home against, on paper, the worst team in the league. But yeah, we're going to have to go to the stadium. Hopefully we can try some good food, we can meet some cool people, and most importantly, we can go and see some good football. But yeah, guys, come along with me. Like I said earlier, you know, my prediction for this game is 3-1, but for you guys, you'll know the score by the time the game finishes. But anyway, it's still going to be an incredible experience. My first time here in Guadalajara, my first game of 2026. So yeah, let's dive into the game. Let's go and get a taxi, and yeah, let's go to the Estadio Jalisco. Come on. Guys, we're here at the stadium, at the Estadio Jalisco, my 7th Liga MX stadium, and to be honest, it's a party. I would rather be in there dancing and everything, but I need to tell you how good it is first before I do that. When I first got here, the driver dropped me off on one corner and there was hardly anyone here, and I was thinking, oh no, like this is going to be a boring kind of environment. I turned the corner, I walked all the way around the stadium, and on the other side to where the driver dropped me off is this party. I don't know if you can hear the music, but it is popping off. They got a full band going on. I've just tried the tortas ahogadas. They're incredible. They are absolutely fantastic. I would come back to Guadalajara just for those. If you don't know what they are, they're basically, I'll overlay it on screen whilst I'm talking. They are normal sandwiches, normal tortas, but just drenched in sauce, and it is so good, so good. It's going right up there. It's some of my favorite food here in Mexico. And yeah, we've got about an hour to kick off, and I don't know if it's gonna be a full stadium, because I know you can see it in the background, the red kind of light behind me. It is it's a big place, so we're gonna get in there very soon. But to be honest, I think the Estadio Jalisco is winning already just for the environment outside. The fact that they've got a live band. I've never seen a live band outside a stadium before. Whether Chivas will have the same tomorrow, you'll have to stay tuned. But it's looking good so far. And, well, I need to get back into that party because it is a whole vibe over there. So, yeah, I'll speak to you guys in a little while. We'll probably get into the stadium a little while, depending on how long this party goes on for outside. But, yeah, it's popping off so far. Estadio Jalisco, you rock. Yes, guys, you can tell by my voice that I'm walking up the stairs and I'm absolutely shattered. Look at the view though. The view's spectacular. To be honest, there's only 10 minutes till kickoff, and that's because I was just walking around so much, listening to the band. So yeah, here we go. Okay, this is the view. Usually I do a slow kind of walk up the stairs to show the pitch, but this is what we're dealing with tonight. Right, guys, we are officially... Sorry, I had to check my mic. I don't know why. Got a little bit of a light show going on, but we are inside the Estadio Jalisco. It is a beautiful stadium. Look at this. It is massive. A little bit disappointed with the lack of fans, but it's a Friday night, so you can understand. And they're playing against Puebla, so I kind of get it. But there's no taking away from how nice this stadium is. We're pretty much at the top. Once again, like at the Cruz Azul game, I'm surrounded by all my friends. You love to see it. But yeah, got about 10 minutes till kickoff. I need to get my breath back, but let's get into it. Okay, guys, we're sat down in our seat. And I mean, it's a good view. We're pretty much on the halfway line. Kind of the perfect spot, in my opinion. Some people like to be behind the goal, but for me, the halfway line is perfect. I can see both ends of the pitch. We're really high up as well. And to be honest, my seat was, I was able to sit anywhere. Also, my ticket, by the way, 175 pesos, which is probably about $7 to $8, maybe £6. So a pretty good price as well. And yeah, we're here inside the Estadio Jalisco. Once again, you never know what the security are going to try and take off you in a stadium. Usually it's a bell or like my cable to charge my phone. This time it was the blooming box that my microphone is in. Oh, let's go! We've got a light show! Alice! Okay, now the lights have gone down. You can't see me very well, but that was pretty cool. Everyone shouting Atlas there. In terms of the atmosphere, I don't know how it's going to compare with some of the other stadiums that we've been to, primarily because it's not the biggest of crowds, but nonetheless, what I find in Mexican stadiums is that usually it gets more full as the game goes on, and hopefully that's going to be the case here today. There's really not many people around me, but like I say, hopefully in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see a few more. But yeah, the game's about to start in a few minutes. We've got a nice little light show going on, and yeah, it's a perfect way to spend a Friday night. I say this every time I go to a game. Oh, here we go. I can't speak. Let there be light. Okay, we're back. We are so back and ready for the game. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The teams are coming out. My first game of 2026. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been about a month since I last went to a game, and I've been itching to be back. And here we go. Oh, man, it's so good to be back. Honestly, it's such a cool stadium. Oh, whoa! Holy shit! First chance of the game is going to Puebla. It's a corner on the left-hand side. They're going to swing this in. Will it lead to anything early doors? Not at the moment. Ball cleared away, but not too far away. Okay, now Puebla have got the ball and they can come forward. But it's a terrible ball. It's a hopeful ball, which leads to nothing. Yeah, absolutely leads to nothing. Again, atmosphere, considering there's a lot of empty seats, the atmosphere in here is actually really, really good. Fans are not happy at the moment. Atlas feel like they should have had a penalty. And to be honest, from up here, it looked like it should have been a penalty too. I'd imagine VAR will have a long look at this because it looked like a penalty. Maybe not, but the Atlas fans here are not happy. Could have been a penalty, maybe should have been, question mark. Anyway, 0-0 for the first few minutes. I think we're about 5 minutes in at this point. I'm not too sure what's going on here. The referee started running as if he was about to look at the VAR screen. He suddenly stopped, and now all the players have surrounded him to understand what's going on. Is he going to go to the VAR screen? Okay, yeah, he is. He's going to have a look at the VAR screen. Usually, if they go to the screen, it means one thing only. The fans know it. 5 minutes in, this would be a dream start to Atlas, for Atlas, if they could get this penalty. I mean, We'll wait and see what he has to say. I think he's going for it. He will be pointing to the spot. It looked like a dead cert penalty to me. I can't see how he gives anything else here. Again, if you're going to the screen, you're probably going to give a penalty. We're going to see what he says. I think this is a pen. Oh, here we go. He's come back. Oh, we've got someone coming across. Oh, what's he said? Penalty, Dallas! Good on. See it on the screen. Terrible start for Puebla, but perfect start for Atlas. Let's see if they can go 1-0 up. But this is a dream start. It was a dead start penalty. I'm not surprised at all. But let's see what happens with this penalty. Here we go, the penalty for Atlas. On the clock it says 7 minutes and 40 seconds. But are they going to score? I think he scores. I'm going his bottom right. Goalkeeper's left. Away! 1-0 Atlas! 1-0 Atlas is a dream start, baby. It's a dream start for Atlas. Oh, it couldn't go any better for Diego Coca and his team. 1-0. Oh my God. I think I've seen the worst miss of my life. Atlas were in on goal. I'm not too sure exactly who the player was, but it was a brilliant control. Brought it down really well. Lobbed the goalkeeper. Open goal. And he's missed the blooming target. How on earth has he done that? Oh, it was a golden opportunity to double the lead for Atlas, but it's gone begging. To be honest, they've dominated this early proceedings of this game, and they probably won't have a better chance than that. That was honestly, that's an incredible miss. Still 1-0 Atlas, but honestly, I expect the second one to come very, very soon. Half-time here at the Estadio Jalisco, 1-0 to Atlas. And to be honest, I've come up to the top of the stadium, and I wish I kind of did this earlier. Look at the view. I mean, actually, I need to have a look at myself. It is spectacular. I feel like my camera's not doing it justice because it is absolutely spectacular here. Anyway, 1-0. Look, it started really well, obviously, with the penalty. Not just because it was a penalty, but the actual play before it was really good as well. And then Atlas had a golden opportunity that they missed. And then after that, they just drop off. They just sit back, and they're playing against the team that finished bottom of the Apertura. So they should be dominating this game. You'd imagine going 1-0 up in a game like this, so they should be going for 2, 3, 4, even 5 or 6 possibly, because they know they can do it. But I was talking to the lad next to me, and he was asking me about like the quality here in Mexico, if I thought it was slow or fast. I said, yeah, like looking at this game in particular, it is a little bit slow. Like Atlas just drop off, and Puebla, if Puebla score in this game, it's really through the fault of Atlas for dropping off and not continuing with the pressure that they put in the first 5-10 minutes. So look, who knows what's going to happen in the second half. We're going to have hopefully some halftime entertainment. We have to stay tuned for that, because in Mexico, every single stadium has some kind of halftime entertainment, and usually it's something different. So give it a few seconds and we'll see what's going on. But yeah, halftime, 1-0 Atlas. Still 1-0 Atlas. Really nothing has happened at the start of this second half, at a time where you're really hoping for something to happen. Both teams are just moving so slowly with the ball. The one bright player on this entire pitch is number 11 for Atlas. Every time he gets the ball, he looks like the one player that's going to nothing. He's the one player that looks like he's going to do something. That being said, he looks like he's also got a bit of an attitude problem. He always seems to be moaning at the referee. There was one point he was supposed to be injured, and he was complaining with the linesman about being on the side and not being able to come on the pitch. But both teams are just so slow. I mean, look at here, there's no movement for him. Good effort, but he's having to take a shot from about 30 yards out because he's got no other options. And it's not just Puebla either, it's the same for Atlas. They started this game so promisingly, but we're now at a point in the game where there's just such little movement. The pace of the game is so slow. I really hope that something changes in this game. Hopefully a second goal. Here we go. Maybe we might just get what we wish for straight away here. Number 11, my guy. I need to actually find out what his name is. But it's a good... Ooh, nothing leads from it. But yeah, that's my kind of in-depth analysis, if you want to call it that, about this game so far. There is a little bit of analysis on this channel. And so far, that is what I have to say about what's going on in this game. Okay, so in the last few seconds, the game has started to pick up. It's still 1-0 Atlas, but we're seeing some signs of hope. Because Atlas have had the ball in the back of the net, but it was a clear foul in the build-up to that. So nothing happened there. But gone straight up the other end. Here we go. Do we have something on here? Good save again. To be honest, the Atlas goalkeeper has been worked much more than the Puebla goalkeeper, which is something that I wouldn't have predicted before the game. But Puebla have gone up the other end just a few minutes before this, actually, and put ball across the box, and the shot went wide of the goal. Should have done better with the chance, but now we're starting to see it become a little bit more end-to-end, which is what we hope to see. We've got about 30 minutes left in the game, and yeah, hopefully we see some much needed entertainment in this game, because we saw so much at the start with the fireworks and everything. We just need it on the pitch now. A few minutes left here, and look, I'll be honest, I'll be surprised if there's another goal in this game. Earlier, I mean, if you told me that after 5 minutes, I wouldn't have believed you, because I just would have assumed that Atlas would go on and dominate this game, but they've just sat back. They've sat back all game, and I can't explain it. The one shining player for Atlas has been number 11. I've had a look. Diego Gonzalez. I actually had heard of his name. I couldn't remember. The one with the blonde hair, if you can see, kind of around. Where's my finger? There, Diego Gonzalez. Everything's gone through him at the moment for Atlas. But in all honesty, if they want to compete in the playoffs or actually reach the playoffs, they've got to be a lot better than this. They've just sat off pretty much the entire game against arguably the worst, or if not one of the worst teams in the league. Give credit to the fans, because it's not been a great performance, but the fans are still singing. You've got the Ultras on the other side over there. Did get busier than at the start of the game, but still not a massive turnout from the Ultras, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is the first game of the season and they're playing against Puebla. So you have to kind of take these things into consideration. Oh, no. There's been a lot of near misses. And what I mean is a lot of times where they've got near the goal, but nothing's really happened. And that's kind of summed it up. Anyway, unless anything else happens in this game, let's go home to the Airbnb and let's really reflect on what we've seen today. Yes, guys, it's the day after the Atlas match, and I've had some time to rest, to think about the game, and now is the time to give you the all-important review of my experience at the Estadio Jalisco watching Atlas against Puebla. I mean, starting off with, I must say, when I first got to the stadium, as I said earlier in the video, when I first got there, I thought that there was no one. I got there and like the driver had sort of taken me to this corner of the stadium where like not many people were. There was a couple of stands, a few people, and I was thinking, oh, like there's really going to be no one for this game. No one's going to be here. And then I walked around literally the other side of the stadium, and there was thousands of people. There was a live band. Like I've never seen in all of my years going to football games across the entire world, not just in Mexico. I have never seen a live band before. So massive props to Atlas and the Estadio Jalisco for having a live band, because that just made the atmosphere so much better. I mean, it was a good atmosphere anyway, but that made it even better. But yeah, now is the time to give you my final ranking. I've decided to rank the stadiums of Mexico with 4 different categories, and then I'll give you a final mark. Everything's going to be out of 10. So we are starting with the atmosphere of the stadium. And so starting with the atmosphere, we have to take into consideration the before the game and during the game. So starting before the game, like I say, there was the band, there was a cool light show before the game, there was fireworks, which yeah, I think it's fair to say it scared me a little bit. I did not see it coming. But with all of that, I mean, that was 10 out of 10. That was spectacular. And then during the game, as I said during the match, there wasn't much of an ultra scene at this particular game, which I'll talk about in a second. But with that in mind, and like certain moments in the game where I felt like the stadium was just really quiet. So I think overall for the atmosphere of the game, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because before the game, it was spectacular. I felt it dipped a bit during the game because the quality of the game wasn't so high. But yeah, I think an 8 out of 10 is a pretty solid mark. And then moving on to the food, I mean, oh my god, that torta ahogada was spectacular. I don't know if my recording of the food is going to do it justice, but that is a straight 10 out of 10. I'm not going to lie, I will come back to Guadalajara just to have that torta ahogada again. It was absolutely sublime. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for the food, 8 out of 10 for the atmosphere. The next is the fans. Okay, so I must say for myself, when I go to stadiums, a lot of the times I'm really focused on the match. So I don't actually look out to speak to fans that much. And also also, I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I don't always try to speak to fit people. So when I rate fans, I also have to take that into consideration. But that being said, I did actually speak to a few fans. They saw me recording and they were asking where I was from. And, you know, we had a really in-depth chat about the game and about the differences between British football and Mexican football, which was really interesting. So for that and everything involved, I'm giving the fans of Atlas, for my personal experience here today, or yesterday I should say, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think 8 out of 10 is pretty solid because they were all really nice to me. I had no bad experiences. Sometimes as someone recording, you know, being slightly different, you know, people just kind of stare at you and you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But that was not the case at Atlas. Everyone that I spoke to was really, really nice, especially the fans inside the stadium. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for the fans. Okay, so the last thing that I will be ranking is the quality of the match. And I mean, considering that the only goal of the game came in the 8th minute, I mean, I expected and I was hoping for so much more. But for whatever reason, Atlas just decided to sit back. They decided to give Puebla so much more possession. If they want to qualify for the playoffs this year in the Clausura, they have to do so much more than that, because if they do that against the better teams, they will get annihilated. They will get battered, because they were playing against one of the worst teams from the Apertura and still decided to give them a lot of the possession, to give them chances. You know, there wasn't much pressure. There wasn't much movement on and off the ball for Atlas. And to be honest, the same can be said for Puebla as well. So for the actual quality of the game, I'm probably going to give it a 6 out of 10, because I've been to games that are obviously worse. I've been to many games that are better than this. So yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 is pretty, you know, is a pretty good ranking for the actual quality of the game. So overall, the overall ranking that I will be giving the Estadio Jalisco and Atlas for this game is a 7.5 out of 10, which I think is respectable. I think there are certain things that you have to take into consideration. The fact that it was the first game of the season, that they were playing against Puebla. The one caveat that I have for that, because I spoke to some fans and they said, oh, we have more people come to games, but this is the first game of the season. Maybe, you know, just in the UK it's slightly different, but for me, I think, well, for the first game of the season, that's when you're likely to have more people, because it's when you're filled with hope and expectation. You know, it's later in the season when that hope and expectation dies. But for that first game, that's when you go and you're really, really excited. Maybe because the season technically started in June for the Apertura, and this is actually just the second half. Maybe that is something to take into consideration as well. But yeah, a 7.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed my experience. And one thing that I have to mention is I always try to get a little souvenir at every stadium I go to. At Tigres, I got a retro shirt. I was gifted a printed shirt at Santos Laguna, and this time here I've got a little keychain. I don't know if I'll use it so much as a keychain, but Atlas are known as the Foxes, Los Zorros, and we've got that as well. Sorry, I'm moving myself away from the mic. But yeah, this is a little thing for me to remember. I'm hoping to build a little collection of memorabilia from all the different stadiums I go to. So this is what I've got from Atlas. And yeah, today is actually the day that we're going to be going to Chivas, and we have something very, very excited there. Even myself, I've been messaging certain people in the build up to this game, but I don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you watch that video, because it is absolutely going to be spectacular. Either way, regardless of what happens, I know it's going to be a fantastic vlog. So guys, thank you for watching this far. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and until later today, I guess, I'll see you later. Peace out.